So y'all, the winter characters Zxous and Brid are coming out, right? But it had me thinking that not only is this character about to be 2 years old, but she is slowly falling off, yet still maintaining her relevancy in Nikke, going into 2026, ending off in 2025, and that is the Ludmilla Winter Owner character. Now, she's still a very good character. I think when it comes to water DPSs, I'd probably still have her there in my top 5 water DPSs. In no specific order, I probably have Dorothy, Quincy, Helm, and then I have Ludmilla there, right? No specific order. That's my first 4, right? The 5th one, I'd have to look at them all again because I'm forgetting somebody 110%. But we're going to take a look at, this Ludmilla right here, and we're going to see how relevant she is in 2025 and if she's able to still, compete in today's meta and stuff like that. Now, if we take a look at her care kit's very, very simple. She's a character who basically wants to be attacking all the time. Not only that, she wants to be attacking enemies with cores, right? Because if she lands a certain amount of normal attacks on the enemy with a core, basically, she will deal additional damage. So if she's fighting a boss realistically that has core, she's doing maximum damage, right? And then when you use her burst skill, she gives herself quite the attack buff of 62% and then a reload speed buff of 67%. At the beginning of a full burst, her crit rate is increased, which is very good because she's a machine gun character. And then again, after 60 normal attacks while hitting a core, she is going to, do the additional, basically, 900 or not 900, 100 plus percentage of final attack as additional damage or whatever. We're at level 8, so ours is basically at 100%, but there's that, right? Not only that, if she lands 60 normal attacks on the target, she is basically going to give them a damage taken increase debuff of 11% at level 8 for 3 seconds. It's really good because her being a machine gun means that she's going to be able to keep that 11% up on the boss 100% of the time, unless the boss is in the air for like 3 seconds, right? Not only that, she does deal damage again as additional damage for just landing 60 normal attacks. So you can kind of understand why this Ludmilla character is quite the powerhouse, right? So let's go ahead and use her in a couple of things, different teams and all that stuff. Let's go. All right, so for the first team here, we're going in with Monstrous Trio and Eleg. Basically with Eleg, she's Eleg is buffing up our damage for water code allies, right? Our elemental damage. If there's 4 ghosts, I think it's 4 or 6, I'm pretty sure it's 4. If Eleg has 4 of her ghosts around her, she will be giving water code allies a elemental damage buff, right? Which is pretty good. But you guys are gonna see this Ludmilla character hits very, very hard. Mind you, when she came out, we didn't have any of these supports. The Monstrous Trio did not exist. So even before her burst skill, you guys see she's already at 14 million. It's crazy to say that because Helm is also type advantage here, and again, Helm is a treasure item character. From 14 million to what with all these numbers? And remember, every 60 normal attacks and every 60 core hits she's doing, she's dealing additional damage. You guys just see it's proccing there. So again, that's quite crazy, right? From 14 million to 216 million. She just went up by 202 million in the span of literally 10 seconds. And if we go to Eleg here, I don't even know what Eleg's at. Eleg's at 3 stacks, which means Eleg has yet to give Ludmilla that elemental damage buff, right? Let me make sure it's 4, or is it 6? I'm pretty sure it's 4. Yeah, it's 4. After 4 normal attacks, or not 4 normal attacks, if she has 4 ghosts or more, she'll give them that. And then yeah, basically this is all for water code ally. She's giving them an attack buff right now, but she'll give elemental damage as well when she has 4. She currently has 4 now, so now Ludmilla is really, really strong. But you guys can kind of see why this Ludmilla character is crazy, and especially if you give her that Bastion cube on top of her own kit, right? She kind of has the Bastion cube in her own kit as well. I believe it's on her first skill here, right? When landing 60 normal attacks, she will reload 18 bullets. So by having that and that in her second skill and that in her okay, wait, she's at 395 million with Eleg's buff, right? I'll show you guys all the buffs she has right now. So we have 90% damage of strong element just because we're type advantage. We have 20% or 21% attack damage buff from Royal Attire. We have the 12% attack buff from Hello Ghost. We have the 36% attack damage buff from Last Kingdom. We have the 27% strong element from Hello Ghost. We have the 10% attack damage buff. We have the 62% attack buff from her. And that's not even from herself, from Guiding Lantern. Oh, that is from herself. From herself right there. And then we also have the 64% attack buff from Crowd. And then we have the 4% attack damage buff from Little Mermaid. And then we have the 13% critical buff or crit rate buff from herself. And then we have the 27% attack damage buff from Helm. If you guys cannot tell, that's a lot of buffs. But 395 million to what? Oh my god, the boss ended up jumping. So we lost 3 seconds right there. Right, we lost 3 seconds of damage right there, but 395 million to 537. And again, we lost a lot of damage. I know it's only 3 seconds, but don't let that fool you. We lost a lot of damage. But yeah, no, I still think till this day, Ludmilla is 110% a very powerful character. The only thing is her niche is just the simple fact that if you're fighting a boss outside of like shooting range or basically any boss that doesn't have core, you're losing a lot of damage because one, she's getting a lot of damage from doing these numbers on cores, right? Like if you guys look at those red numbers, if we don't have any of those red numbers popping up against any other bosses, right, she's losing a big portion of damage. I'm talking like hundreds of millions of damage. So she is a niche character in that sense, but you guys could see, right? Like we don't play about this character. 1 billion, like we don't play about this character. Who's using their burst skill? It's her, okay. So 1.120 billion to what? Right? The boss is fully on the floor. The boss isn't jumping. She has all the buffs. Everybody's active. Everybody's full here. 1.120 to 1.367. So it's like 200 and what? That's like a 247 million attack buff. Just every burst rotation use her burst skill. And when we don't use her burst skill, right? The 1404 to what? This is not using her burst skill, but like just in a full burst. Where everybody has their stuff active. 1404 to, and the boss jumped to 1494. So she went up by 90 million there. She could have went up by 100 million probably if the boss hadn't jumped, right? Again, I know it might not seem like anything crazy, but that boss jumping is not something we want to happen. Like we just don't want that boss to jump whatsoever. Because we're losing a lot of damage in a short amount of time. But I'm really happy about this Ludmilla, right? I still think she's a great character, and she's not gonna get any reruns or anything like that. Like that's one thing you guys gotta remember, right? She's just not gonna get a rerun this year because she reran last year. This rerun, or this year, the rerun is 100% going to be made in and guillotine, which I will have showcases for them around the time Diesel and them come out, which will be sometime next week. So stay tuned to that. But I did want to show some love on the character that is slowly falling off, but also maintaining her spot. She's kind of like, well, she's kind of falling off because again, there's not that many bosses that have core hits. Not to mention, we're in a point in Nikke where typings matter. Like typing matter. If we're not fighting a stage where the she's type advantage, you're not using Ludmilla. And another thing I'm not talking about, which I should have probably mentioned a few times, is the attack or the damage taken increase she has on this boss. Everybody right now is doing a lot more damage to this boss just because she permanently had a 11% damage taken, like 2 billion, 2.4 billion, 2 billion, even 1.1 billion from Little Mermaid is quite crazy. Even 752 million from Eleg, even though she's a Flex Burst 3 character, and she is type advantage and she does have overload gear, yes, it's still pretty good, right? And let's look at Little Mermaid, who doesn't have type advantage or anything like that, right? The only thing Little Mermaid was getting extra here from Ludmilla was the fact that damage taken increase was active, right? So this right here is very, very, very good, right? That's why I think when it comes to Dorothy and, you know, Ludmilla, that combo is really good because it kind of helps you handle all your missing problems. But I do also like to use Ham as well with that composition. But yeah, let's go into like an actual fight and see how good she is there, where we're more like involved with her niche. All right, so this right here is basically the same team, but instead of having Eleg, we're running Nayuta to handle the mobs, and actually Ile can handle the mobs as well, but it gets to a point. Also, I don't know if you guys know, but I'm currently wearing a yeah, y'all didn't know I'm on demon time. If you don't subscribe to me right now, I'm on demon time. I'm on demon time right now. If y'all don't subscribe to me. And no, I don't do any silly activities with this. It's just for the winter. But yeah, like I was saying, bro, when it comes to this boss right here, Harvester, there is no core hit here, right? But I mean, I think there's core hit on the head. Or there's just no core hit at all. So you guys notice how there's no core hit at all? Is there any core hit? I swear Harvester had core hit somewhere. I guess not. But yeah, there's just no core hit. That's a problem because we're missing a lot of damage. Even though she's still doing a good amount of damage, remember, by not having core hit means this right here is not being proc, right? And that's 100% of additional final attack damage, which means all the buffs that she's getting from Little Mermaid, Nayuta, Helm, and Crown that would also go into that 100% of additional damage is not being triggered just because she is not hitting a core at all, right? I think actually when you break the head, there's a core. I don't remember. I swear Harvester has a core somewhere. I know for a fact. I mean, I don't want to say for a fact. I swear Harvester has a core somewhere. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. We're going to see. Don't die on me, Ludmilla, please. Please don't die on me, Ludmilla. Okay, yeah, now there's a core. So now Ludmilla goes crazy, right? And as you guys can see, if you look at the boss's HP right at the very, very, very top, you see that second, I guess that debuff, the second red buff you see on the thing, that's just constantly going back up. That is Ludmilla's damage taken increase to Harvester. That's what you're seeing right there, right? And again, when it comes to damage, now that we have a core active, you see it's just going to be crazy. And you look at Ludmilla, she's doing a lot of numbers. Don't get me wrong, Nayuta's hitting hard as hell, hard as well. Little Mermaid's hitting hard as well. Helm is hitting hard as well. Like, this team works. So I think the water team has everything they need, which is crazy. Oh, but we lost our burst 1, which is not what we needed right there. That's not good because now we don't have a burst 1. And I was talking, I wasn't paying attention. It's okay. I was talking. I don't want to redo that match because you guys kind of get the gist. So let's just run the full match without a burst 1, just to show you guys, right? It's kind of gonna be okay. We're just gonna have to die here because like we don't have a burst 1. We need our burst 1. But yeah, just to kind of show you guys, she does hit very, 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 very hard. Now, what is, you know, this Ludmilla's best team? I don't know. That's a question for. I mean, what is her best team? Like, it's definitely on the water team. I don't think it's this. I'd probably say her best team is like. Oh, another thing is you could use her as a flex burst 3 too. You could, right? If I had Helm here, or not Helm here, Crown, and I have her here, and I put, let's say I put Dorothy. Let's put this winter, or yeah, the summer Dorothy, for example, right? Let's put her on here. We now have everything we need, right? You could still use Ludmilla as a flex burst 3, and still do a good amount of damage for the simple fact that, guess what? She doesn't necessarily need her burst skill. Like, it's a big loss in not using her burst skill, but once you get that core active, like once we break the head and we have that core visible, we're still doing a boatload of damage with her. Not to mention Dorothy does a good amount of damage, Ludmilla does a good amount of damage, Hound does a good amount of damage. We do have our shield here, so I'm not too worried too much. Like, Ludmilla's not gonna die here because of Helm. You get what I'm saying? I'm just gonna try to break this head right here. And now that they're going for the head, look at Ludmilla, right? She's at 85 million. That's going to jump up big time because now she has her additional damage. So if you guys look at the numbers right there, the numbers at the bottom of the boss, right there, 1.2 million, 1.2, 1.7. This number right here, if you look where my cursor is, that's the additional damage. And you guys can see she's skyrocketing in damage, right? She might actually surpass Helm without even using a burst skill. Remember, I know people are like, okay, well, this is Helm we're talking about. Helm is not a... Like, Helm has a treasure. I don't think people realize how much of a stat boost Helm has by being a treasure character compared to my Ludmilla, who doesn't have, I don't even think she has leveled up collection items, right? Right? Thank goodness for Helm's burst skill. I don't know who's about to die here, but we do have our shield up. I'm not too worried or anything like that. Let's go ahead and cover there. Who's getting hit? Helm is getting hit. She has her shield up. I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried. We now have a shield and we have our heals up. Again, I'm not too worried. I don't know if Crown is gonna die right there. I don't know if Crown is gonna die right there. I don't think so. Okay, we're good. But yeah, look at Ludmilla. She's like just right there with Helm without using a burst skill. And remember, again, when using Ludmilla, we're missing out on all this right here. I don't think the reload speed is like that crazy of an effect from Ludmilla, just because, like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, Ludmilla, if you would probably be lucky to reload with her. Like, I'm just being honest. With a team like this, you would be lucky to reload with her. Like, you're gonna reload after like 2 minutes of shooting. Look at her. Like, with Little Mermaid and this type of team, you're genuinely going to be insanely lucky to even reload. She's just constantly giving herself bullets, right? She's just constantly giving herself bullets. She reloaded there, yes, but then obviously again, what's her name? Crown has a pretty big reload speed buff for anybody who, like, just everybody on the team. So you don't have to worry too much. And that's why Crown is such a crazy... Oh, I missed that. No way I missed that. Do we die here? I think we die here. Because I missed that? That's crazy. Because I missed that. It's crazy. All because I missed that. But still, look at her damage. Like, I get... Like, she's right there. Okay, obviously it's like 140 million power less. Yes. But we're talking about a character compared to Helm, who's using her burst skill of like, what, 8,000% type advantage, treasure character. What is Helm's burst skill again? Just to confirm, it's 8,000%, right? 8,200% of final attack as burst skill damage. On top of the attack damage buff she gives herself, on top of the additional damage she gives herself, on top of, like, what are we talking about right now? This Ludmilla character really is a character who I feel like has tested the time of Nikke, right? She's a character who, again, has fallen off. I feel like I would say she's fallen off slightly, but she still maintained her slot. Like, if I had to do like if you ask me, is Ludmilla a top 20 character, I would probably say no. If you ask me, is she a top 30 character? Maybe you could start talking about her being in the top 30. Is she a top 40? 100%. I would say Ludmilla is definitely a top 40 character in the game. But top 30, top 20, that's where, like, has she fallen off then if she's not even a top 30 character? Like, I feel like even think she's a top 30 might be a stretch, because, like, from top 10 to top 20, you have characters like Scarlet, Modernia, Mihara, and there's a lot more characters that I haven't named that come way before this Ludmilla. So maybe I might have to do that video, like ranking every character till we come to Ludmilla or something, one of those types of videos. But anyways, I mean, I know it wasn't the best showcase, and even though you guys know that I could beat this stuff and all that stuff, I know you guys are gonna come with those comments. You guys always do, and it's just like, ugh, whatever. But yeah, what do you guys think about Miss Ludmilla here? Do you guys think she's good? Do you guys think she's bad? Do you think she's fallen off? Do you think she hasn't fallen off? I don't think she deserves a favorite item or anything like that, nor does she deserve a buff. I think for a character that came out in 2023, right? Yeah, she came out in 2023, so literally almost 2 years ago. She's still a fantastic character. And honestly, if you ask me, Zxous, should I summon for her? The answer would be no. Like, I don't think she's that crazy of a character where you need her, unless you just don't have another good DPS for the water team. Because even if we're talking about just straight water DPSs, like, let me take a look real quick, right? If we're talking about straight water DPSs, Ludmilla might actually be up there, right? She might be a top 3 water DPS if we're being for real, right? I'm gonna go to Water Burst 3. Who do we have here that's a better DPS than her, right? Like, you have Dorothy, who's #1. You can't say Helm because Ludmilla hits harder than Helm. Like, yeah, Helm with I keep saying Little Mermaid. Ludmilla, I don't know if I said Little Mermaid this entire video, but if I have, I apologize. Ludmilla is probably top 3 water DPS. So if you need another good water DPS, if you know you're able to get her this winter, by all means, you do that. We'll see what the patch notes is looking like, but you guys let me know what you think. It's gonna be your boy Zxous. Subscribe and like, join the Discord. Can't wait for all the other videos to come out, and I'm see you guys in the next one. I'm out later. Peace.